Welcome to the Explainer. We've all probably wished for a do-over in life at some point, right? But what if getting that second chance meant you literally had to kill an ancient god? Today, we're diving into an absolutely epic tale of betrayal, dark magic, and a quest for total, absolute vengeance. We're going to unpack an incredibly cinematic journey of survival, tracking a protagonist who defies death itself to completely rewrite history. Let's get right into it. So we start right in the middle of a blood-soaked throne room. Jan, a fiercely loyal commander of the elite special forces, has just slaughtered his own men just to reach the emperor. Why? Because he discovers his entire life has been a complete lie. In this horrifying moment of clarity, he literally digs a mind control worm out of his own brain right before the emperor casually murders him. He dies wondering if his life meant anything at all, only to wake up.
He opens his eyes, but he's definitely not the supreme commander anymore. He realizes he's been thrown 30 years into the past. Just imagine that for a second, having a 30-year elite combat cheat code locked inside a scrawny 14-year-old's body. He's at the absolute bottom of a brutal assassin's training pit. But this time he has a burning vow to escape and destroy the very empire that used him. Chapter 1, Betrayal and a Second Chance.
Thrown into this terrifying maze-like pit with 1,000 other kids, Jan is labeled number 974, literally the absolute bottom of the barrel. He's forced to do grueling hard labor while constantly looking over his shoulder. But here's the catch. He has to completely hide his true strength. See, in his first life, the survivors of this camp were turned into dragon warriors, but they were secretly implanted with those horrific parasite worms, so the emperor could control them like literal puppets. We're talking soldiers who would keep fighting even with their guts hanging out. Jan knows he absolutely cannot risk becoming a puppet again.
To survive, he taps into his future knowledge and a forbidden technique called divine dragon breathing. Now, he can't fully master it just yet because his 14-year-old body is simply too weak to handle it, but he immediately starts plotting a way out of this hellhole. He actually starts digging a secret tunnel out of an abandoned latrine. Hey, it's not glamorous, but survival rarely is, right?
Chapter 2, Escaping the Death Camp.
So, escaping a fortress surrounded by elite hunters isn't something you can do solo. The exit actually requires multiple people to trigger this massive double-door lock. John needs capable pawns, so he recruits Roman, this tough, high-ranking survivor, along with 2 others, keeping the entire operation totally under the radar. The main objective here? Avoid the deadly gaze of Damien, the camp's sadistic commander. This guy is a terrifying madman who can literally kill trainees just by projecting his aura through his voice. Once they make their move, Jan executes an absolute tactical masterclass. As soon as they break out into the great forest of Atria, he orders his crew to split up. The elite pursuers think he's just some weak rookie, which turns out to be a fatal mistake. Using the thick fog, hidden wire traps, and his lethal past life experience, Jan effortlessly wipes out the entire 3rd Pursuit Squad in a matter of seconds. But here's what Jan didn't know. Damien himself joined the hunt. Suddenly, Jan feels this icy bloodlust right behind him, and Damien catches our hero completely off guard. It turns into a literal 4D chess match, where Jan has to rapidly mix truths with lies about a rival commander's daughter just to stall for his life.
Chapter 3, Waking the Ancient Lich.
Somehow, Jan barely talks his way out of Damien's grasp, which leads right into a deadly survival test in the Abyss Edge Mountains. And here is where his future knowledge completely breaks the game. While the other recruits are just desperately fighting for their lives in this monster-infested wasteland, Jan is actively hunting down beasts and eating their raw, highly toxic magic stones. He balances out the intense poison by using his dragon breathing, rapidly absorbing the monster's traits to boost his own physical body to superhuman levels. However, while he's busy gathering power, Jan manipulates an arrogant noble into triggering a blood seal. And well, this accidentally unleashes Momo, a terrifying ancient lich who has been waiting 1,000 years for revenge. Momo erupts from her slumber and immediately begins slaughtering the instructors and recruits on the mountain in this massive, apocalyptic storm of dark magic. But while Momo is distracted brutally fighting the top recruits, Jan seizes the moment. He sneaks into her hidden altar and devours her precious 1,000-year-old elixir and a magical egg, successfully forming a legendary mana heart. This is the ultimate energy core that Momo herself invented, and it allows Jan to perfectly command his magic, instantly skyrocketing his power level.
Chapter 4: The Revolutionary Army's Secret.
After Momo is defeated by the unexpected arrival of Prince Leon, her soul actually becomes bound to Jan as this sort of snarky spirit guide. And with her help, things get wild. Ambushed by assassins, Jan discovers a pendant linking the psychotic Damien to the Revolutionary Army, a rebel group dedicated to overthrowing the tyrannical emperor. It turns out, Damien is actually the illegitimate son of the emperor, raised on the streets.
And here is the ultimate plot twist. Jan confronts Damien with the pendant, only to realize that the founder of the Revolutionary Army, the very man who saved and raised this sadistic commander, is actually Jan's own missing father. No way, right?
Chapter 5: The Epic Final Clash.
Armed with this world-shattering knowledge, Jan embarks on elite missions in the north. He saves a VIP scholar from a staged train bombing and even claims the legendary magic-cutting dragon sword, Elan. But beneath the ice, he uncovers a horrific truth hidden by the Empire. Secret laboratories experimenting on children and a massive underground altar built from mass human sacrifices. And it's all designed for one thing, to resurrect Bahamut, the first emperor.
Now, Bahamut is the exact same man who betrayed Momo thousands of years ago, stealing the divine dragon breathing technique all for himself. And now he's possessed Prince Leon's body, bringing his terrifying, godlike power straight into the present timeline to wipe out his enemies. This leads directly to an earth-shattering final clash. Jen and the spirit form of Momo face off against the reincarnated First Emperor in an absolute spectacle of a battle. Magic missiles, ice storms, and massive walls of fire completely level the capital. Lena even steps in and summons an ancient ice dragon that temporarily freezes time itself, giving Jen the ultimate opening.
Against all odds, Jan unleashes the true power of the Mana Heart and the Dragon Sword, defeating Bahamut and completely rewriting history. To protect the realm, the horrific truth is covered up. Prince Leon is framed for a standard rebellion, and Jan's allies are hailed as celebrated war heroes. As for Jan, well, he essentially saves the world, but in true unsung hero fashion, he vanishes from the Empire completely.
Which brings us to the end of today's explainer. I want to leave you with this burning question. As Jan steps into the sacred, monster-infested lands of Armenia to finally find his isolated father, can he master his new powers in time for the ultimate war against the heavens? It is a breathtaking cliffhanger that proves Jan's journey of vengeance has only just begun. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep